Okay, so, excuse me. We're going to start by talking about patterns and expressions. So really kind of a basic overview of what we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at functions and all that kind of stuff. So this is like the precursor to all of that. So a couple of vocab things just to keep in mind. So quantities whose value, so things that their value doesn't change, those are constants. All right, they stay the same. The quantities whose values change or vary, that's what we call variables. So things that stay the same, constants. Things that change are variables. So as a variable is a symbol, letter usually, right? That represents one or more numbers. So X, Y, Z, whatever. Any letter is a variable. Oops. So a term is something that contains numbers and operation symbols. So like 3x is a term, 4y, 7z. Those are all terms. Oh wait, hold on. I messed that up. This one, jumped the gun. So a term is that contains one or more variables, just that, right? This one is actually an expression. So this is a mathematical phrase that contains numbers and operation symbols. So it have something like maybe 7x plus 4y minus 3. Sorry about that. So when I look at identifying a pattern, I'm just looking to see kind of what's happening. So sometimes they're number patterns, sometimes they're shapes, all the different kind of stuff. So if I look at this, when I look at this, I notice I'm talking about different shapes. If I look here, so I have 3-sided shape there, 4-sided shape. Start looking here, I have 5, and then 6. So, if I sure you got an idea of how many sides the next shape's going to have?
Say that again.
So how you got an idea of how many sides the next shape is going to have?
7.
7, right? So, the pattern is adding one side. Next, going to have a 7-sided shape. Sometimes it helps us to maybe write a pattern out as an equation or as an expression, because if you start with this pattern, there's 3 things, right? But the first question I have is how many toothpicks are in the 20th figure? I don't want to draw this out 20 times, right? That's awful. So look here. So figure 1, if I look, I have 4 toothpicks, right? Figure 2, 4 here and 4 here, so I have 8 total. And I keep that going. I look, I have 4, 8, 12. So if I look at this pattern, right, number of toothpicks, first instinct might be to say, well, I'm doubling, right? Because 4 to 8 is double. So you want to check, does 8 to 12, is that double? Is 12 double of 8? No, right? So my other option is to look and say, well, what happens here? So how do I get from 4 to 8? Add 4. If I do 8 to 12, I add 4 as well. So think about, I'm kind of adding 4 each time. So there's another way to think about this. So adding 4 each time, right? What is 1 times 4? So 1 times 4, 4? Yeah. Is 2 times 4, 8? Yeah. 3 times 4 is 12. So really, I can answer number 2 first and say, well, what's an expression that describes the number of toothpicks in the nth figure? I'm just taking whatever figure it is, timesing it by 4. So this, say, well, I have 4n. So then if I want to know how many toothpicks are in the 20th figure, I'm looking and saying, well, 20th figure, that means that n is equal to 20. So I take my expression and I say, well, what's 4 times 20? So if you were to do that, you get 80 toothpicks. All right, last thing, using a graph. So they have this graph here that talks about the capacity of a fish tank and the combined lengths of fish that you can have in that tank. So it says you want to set up an aquarium and need to determine what size to buy. The graph shows that. We talked about that. So if I want to buy 5 2-inch whatevers, 4 1-inch guppies, and a 3-inch lokes. I don't know what these are. Got them from the book. So if I'm looking, I need to know the combined length of the fish. So if I have 5 at 2 inches, I know I have 10 total inches, right? And if I have 4 1-inch, that one's not bad, right? I have 4 inches, and then I have 1 3-inch. So if I add that together, my total length is 17 inches. So I have a little bit of a problem there, right? My combined length only goes to 10. So if I look at this and I say, okay, well, what happens at 2 inches? I need a capacity that's twice as big, right? 4. At 4, I need 6. 6, I need 8. 8, I need 10. And 10, it looks like I need 12. So that leads me to believe, like, if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I'm twice as big, or not twice as big, I'm 2 more gallons than the amount of the length that I have. Take whatever I add 2. So if I have 17 inches, how many gallons do I need? If I need 2 more gallons than the length of the fish, I need a 19-gallon tank. I can only buy 15, 25, or 20 or 25. So I'm going to buy nope, that's not the highlighter. I'm going to buy a 20-gallon tank.